Call the official August 20th, 2025 Planning Commission regular meeting to order. Confirmation of posting and roll call.
Thank you. This meeting was posted in accordance to Nevada open meeting law and all members are present.
Thank you. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we'll go ahead and open up the initial public comment. Anyone wishing to be heard on any of the agenda items may make themselves known. They may also call in at 702-589-9629. Hearing and seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the initial public comment period. Moving on to agenda item number 1 for possible action, approval of the minutes of the July 16th, 2025 regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I've got a motion
I'll second.
and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Agenda item number 2 for possible action, matters pertaining to Boulder 350, a proposed future single-family residential subdivision, 122 lots in the R17, R110, and R115 single-family residential zone located on approximately 44.98 acres of land, commonly known as Track 350, 1401 Adams Boulevard. Nikisha.
Thank you, Chair McDonald and members of the Commission. Nikisha Lyons, City Planner with the Community Development Department. So item number 2 before you tonight is a variance request to reduce the minimum required lot widths that are applicable to 2 R110 zoned lots within a proposed 122-lot single-family subdivision known as Boulder 350 or proposed subdivision number 115 for Boulder City. This proposed subdivision is located along the Boulder Creek Golf Course, and it's approximately 44.98 acres, is southwest of the intersection of Adams Boulevard and Bristol Cone Drive, as you can see on the screen, outlined in blue. There's further background information regarding the proposed project and some history in regards to the sale of the land and the process that's detailed starting on page 15 of the agenda packet. To enable development of this tract, the applicant has begun their initial land entitlement process. So that includes the submittal of parcel maps, a tentative map, subdivision exceptions, development allotments, as well as variances. So as you may recall, at the June meeting, Toll Brothers, who's the applicant, requested a variance for reductions in the minimum front setback requirements that are applicable to the lots, which this commission did deny. So the developer has redesigned the housing plans accordingly to conform to the required 20-foot front setback requirement. So at this time, the applicant is seeking a variance specific to lots 101 and 116. So as you can see on the screen highlighted in red, lot 101, this is a corner lot, and it requires a minimum lot width of 85 feet. And as designed, it has a width of 70.82 feet. The applicant states that reconfiguration of lot 101 would impact lots 99 and lots 100, which are both zoned R115, and they require a minimum 100 foot or 100 feet for their lot width. So if adjusted, lot 99 would have an undesirable narrow lot shape along the rear, which you can see in this diagram. So the yellow lines would indicate the reconfiguration of 101 to meet the requirement, and the yellow lines is representing lot 100. And then you can see lot 99 there with that narrow strip along that rear side. For lot 116, this is an interior lot, and it requires a minimum of 80 feet for the lot width. And as designed, this lot has a width of 70 feet. And you can see that on the screen, outlined in red. Lot 116, the applicant states that lot 115, which is adjacent to the left-hand side, must meet the R115 spacing requirements, which it just nearly meets. And then lot 117 to the right, that's zoned R110. and it's on the corner. So it does have a minimum lot width requirement of 85 feet, which again, it just exactly meets. So the applicant states that the current design and applicable spacing requirements for these lots ultimately are restricting Lot 116. So based on these circumstances, since these two lots, as designed, they don't meet the minimum lot width requirement, a variance application must be submitted and considered by this commission. An approved variance is required prior to the review and approval of the subdivision tentative map, as well as the development allotment applications, because it does have to comply with zoning. So a detailed overview of the applicant's justification and staff's analysis is provided in the agenda packet that starts on page 16. So City Code sets forth the criteria that must be met in order for a variance to be granted. It is necessary that findings be provided for all 5 of the criteria for the variance to be approved, and failure to meet any one of the criterion is sufficient reason for denial of a variance. Just to summarize the applicant's justification for the criteria, they state that the subject property has an overall irregular shape and narrow width, inclusive of a nonlinear property line along most of the adjacent golf course. This results in non-uniform shapes of many of the proposed lots. The applicant states that most areas within Tract 350 are only wide enough to accommodate 2 rows of homes with a central street, and the overall width of the subject property constrains the site layout, limiting variation in site planning that would otherwise allow for different street layouts, lot widths, and depths. Due to the site constraints, the reduction of the minimum required width for 2 of the lots would allow the subdivision to compare more equitably with other residential subdivisions that are governed by Title 11, which are usually divided by straight lines that allow for more uniform quadrilateral lot shapes, which is not necessarily the case with the proposed subdivision before you. The applicant also states that a similar variance was granted for Boulder City subdivision number 113, that's Boulder Hills Estates, that's across the street from this, due to lot irregularities caused by curvilinear streets, in which the city approved that some of the R17 corner lot widths could be as low as 72 feet, whereas 75 feet is required for those lots. However, Boulder 350 has even more irregular lots and curvilinear street configurations in comparison to that subdivision, thus requiring a greater variance from this requirement and making this subdivision even more of a candidate for that variance. The applicant's justification also states that due to the nonlinear, non-uniform, and narrow shape of the overall property, the site is substantially more difficult to plan. Therefore, it requires some variation in lot design, accommodating this, which is only 2 lots, and this will not have a noticeable streetscape difference since many of the irregular shaped lots already have varying front lot widths. The applicant also states that the variation in lot widths is beneficial in providing more options to potential home buyers and provides an added benefit to the surrounding properties by offering more value to the homes being constructed, which will help benefit surrounding property values. The variance will not be materially detrimental to public welfare or injurious to the property or improvements in the vicinity and zone, and there are no adverse effects or it's not contrary to the comprehensive plan, which is not site-specific. Their justification states that the variance request will not create a pattern or constitute a change of code due to the subject property's unique characteristics and does not, make the formation of a general regulation of these conditions that would be available to other developments or circumstances. So the justification and the applicable drawings that they've submitted, that is included in the agenda packet that starts on page 22 of the packet. So based on this information, staff offers 2 options for the commission regarding the requested variance. That's detailed out starting on page 18 of the agenda packet. So the first consideration is for conditional approval of the variance, as the request does meet all the criteria with consideration to the overall irregular shape, narrow overall widths, and varying spacing requirements for the 3 single-family residential zoning districts that apply to Tract 350, which creates site constraints and limitations that are not necessarily applicable to other residential subdivisions that, again, have more quadrilateral shapes or maybe just have one applicable zoning district. As the ability to design a subdivision with standard lot dimensions and layouts that are commonly found in other residential areas within Boulder City is limited, a more curvilinear street layout is necessary, which results in numerous irregular shaped lots, therefore hindering the developer's ability to meet the minimum lot width requirement for just 2 of the proposed 122 lots. The requested variance for the lot width for these 2 R110 zone lots is intended to allow for appropriate flexibility in lot size and configuration, and allows the subject property to be developed in a way that is more equitable to surrounding subdivisions. The allowance of this does not significantly impact the overall streetscape aesthetics and supports the needs of potential home buyers that are seeking new architecture as well as greater design variety to meet market demands. Additionally, the city has considered similar variances as this, which is discussed on page 20 of the agenda packet. So if conditionally approved, the standard condition that the variance is based on the plans and the information submitted for this request and shall not apply to deviations to the plans if the scope of the variance is expanded beyond what is shown would be associated with their approval. The second consideration is for denial of the variance as criteria A and B are not met. So for criterion A, there are no exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applicable to the property or its intended use that do not apply generally to other property or classes of use in the same vicinity and zone. While the property does have some irregularities in regards to the shape and the width, these characteristics are not necessarily uncommon in Boulder City, where natural topography, golf courses, or curved roadway networks are often result in non-uniform lot shapes. Curvilinear street layouts and variation in parcel dimensions occur throughout other residential subdivisions in the city where the developer was able to comply with the base zoning standards without the need for a lot width variance or with a limited reduction in the requirement. The challenges cited by the applicant appear to be more design-driven and anticipated at the time of subdivision planning rather than resulting from unforeseen or unavoidable constraints. For criteria B, the variance is not necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right possessed by other property in the same vicinity and zone, but which is denied to the property in question. So the ability to have a single-family residential subdivision is not denied to the subject property itself, regardless of the irregular narrow shape of the overall tract and then the multiple applicable zoning districts. The applicant's proposed lot configuration is a preference rather than a necessity for achieving a reasonable use of the land. The request to allow for a reduced lot width for 2 lots does not constitute a denial of a property right, but rather reflects the desire for design flexibility that is not guaranteed by zoning, and the applicant can reconfigure the proposed lots to meet the provisions of Title 11, Chapter 3. The variance has been noticed in accordance with city code. We have not received any written public comments. So in regards to approving the variance, the commission has the option to approve the request in whole or in part, and they may associate conditions or modifications to the request. So this includes approving a lesser variance than the applicant has requested, approving a variance for a specific lot, modifying the findings, or requiring additional conditions. So if those circumstances do arise, we would request separate motions as necessary for each of those decisions. And the motion language just needs to be clear to identify what components are being approved or what is being denied. So the request before the commission tonight is to conduct the public hearing and to consider the variance and make a motion to either conditionally approve or deny the request based on staff's findings. Staff is available for any questions that the commission may have, and the applicant, they are here tonight and they can answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikisha. We'll open it up. Do we have any questions of staff before we invite the applicant up? No applicants of staff. At this time, we'll invite the applicant up if they've got anything to add or if there's any questions from the dais.
Thank you, Commission, and thank you to staff for the presentation. I'm a little under the weather, so I'll keep this brief. So we've whittled the site down quite a bit, starting with.
Can you just state your name for the record?
Oh, sorry, Isaac Summers, representing Toll Brothers. We started with the intent of the site plan, which was to follow the existing zoning. Once we achieved that, we started whittling away at the various lot widths and lot sizes, trying to stay as compliant as possible to that. And unfortunately, we're left over with these 2 lots that are very difficult to move things without then creating other considerations. You got a full box, you pop something in, something else pops out. That's kind of where we're at here.
So we're asking for your consideration on this, this variance on these 2 lots for the width. And they do, to add also, I think Nikisha may have mentioned, they still meet the minimum lot size requirement overall. So we're just talking about a width variance on this.
Thank you. And I'll have, start us off with one question. Is this for this phase? Is this for the entire tract?
It would apply, this is just 2 lots for the entire subdivision, the entire tract.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Question. Do you guys already have a home, excuse me, that's going to fit on there? With the
Yes,
setback?
yeah, that won't be an issue at all. So at 70 feet, we'll have the 20-foot combined side setbacks, which leaves a 50-foot home, which is still significant. And we have, I think, almost all except for 2 or 3 of our plans will accommodate that size.
Any other questions for the applicant? Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We'll now conduct the public hearing. Anyone wishing to be heard on this matter, make themselves known. They may also call in at 702-589-9629. Hearing and seeing none, we'll go ahead and close this public hearing. We'll bring it around to the dais for discussion or a motion.
I'll move to conditionally approve variance 25-685 based on staff's findings.
I'll second it.
I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to agenda item number 3, monthly progress report.
Hello, I do have a report. So an owner-builder single-family allotment has been issued for 373 Crystal Court. And the allotment committee did score the single-family allotment application for 375 Crystal Court that was recently before the commission. So that's going to be considered by the city council on August 26th. And so if that's approved, we will have approved a total of 6 allotments for construction year 25-26. Thank you.
Slow down. Thank you. Moving on to the final public comment. Anyone wishing to be heard may also call in at 702-589-9629. Hearing and seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the final public comment. Meeting adjourned.